All right, so are we alone in the universe? That's what we're diving into today.
It's a question that I think has captivated humans since we first looked up at the stars.
I mean, you sent me a ton of material for this deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
UFO sightings, all the science, possible alien encounters. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
It really is, and feels like you've got some pretty strong opinions on this.
Well, it's definitely a topic that people tend to have strong opinions about.
For sure.
And for good reason. I think it's a really fundamental question about our place in the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's face it, the universe is massive.
I mean, truly mind-bogglingly vast.
We're talking trillions of galaxies with billions of stars in each.
Each with probably billions of planets.
Exactly. So to think that we're the only intelligent life out there, it kind of seems a little egotistical, don't you think?
Well, it's definitely a viewpoint that has been challenged more and more as we learn more about the universe.
Right.
And as we, start to grasp the sheer scale of it.
So what does the science actually say? I mean, where do we stand on the likelihood of other life out there?
Well, scientifically speaking, the odds are definitely in favor of there being other life.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, just statistically,
Yeah.
with the sheer number of stars and planets out there, it would be almost impossible either not to be.
And this isn't just some kind of fringe theory, right? We've got some pretty solid principles backing this up, right?
Right, like the Copernican principle, which suggests that Earth is not unique.
Oh, okay.
It's not in a special place or anything, so why would life be?
So we're not the center of everything.
We're not the center of everything, exactly.
Right.
It's a humbling thought, but it also opens up the possibilities for other life existing.
Absolutely. And it's not just theory anymore, right? I mean, we're actually finding planets out there, aren't we?
Yeah. We've discovered thousands of exoplanets in recent years.
Wow.
Planets orbiting other stars.
Okay.
And some of them are even in what we call the habitable zone.
Habitable zone, meaning?
Meaning the conditions are right for liquid water to exist.
So like the Goldilocks zone, not too hot, not too cold, just right for life as we know it.
As we know it, exactly.
So that's pretty huge, right? I mean, that's got to increase the chances of finding life somewhere else.
Definitely. I mean, just the fact that we're finding so many planets that could potentially support life
Okay.
really changes the game.
All right. Have we actually heard from anyone out there? I mean, have we picked up any signals or anything like that?
Well, there have been some interesting signals picked up by astronomers over the years. Well, one famous example is the WOW signal.
The WOW signal.
Yeah, back in 1977.
What was that?
It was an incredibly strong radio signal that lasted for 72 seconds.
72 seconds.
Yeah, and it came from deep space.
Okay, that's pretty intriguing.
It's still unexplained.
Unexplained.
Yeah, scientists haven't been able to figure out what caused it.
So could it be aliens?
It's possible, although it's important to remember that there are often natural explanations for these kinds of things.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's just that this particular signal was so strong and so unique
Yeah.
that it really sparked the imagination.
Okay, I get it. It's not proof, but it's definitely interesting.
Exactly. It's definitely a tantalizing clue.
All right, so we've got the vastness of space, we've got potentially habitable planets, and we've got these weird signals. What else is out there that makes you think we might not be alone?
Well, there are also some pretty compelling claims from people who say they've had first-hand experience with aliens.
Okay, who are we talking about here?
Well, one example is Edgar Mitchell.
Edgar Mitchell?
Yeah, the astronaut.
Oh, the one who walked on the moon?
Yeah, the sixth person to walk on the moon.
That's a pretty credible source.
He claimed that the government has been covering up alien contact for years.
Wow, okay. And he's not the only one, right?
No, not at all.
Okay.
There have been numerous whistleblowers and alleged leaks over the years,
Right.
suggesting that governments around the world are aware of extraterrestrial activity.
All right, but what about the skeptics? What do they say to all of this?
Well, skeptics point out that there's no hard evidence.
No concrete proof.
No crashed spaceships, no alien bodies, no alien technology that's been scientifically verified.
Makes sense. They're looking for something tangible.
Exactly.
Okay, I see their point.
They also argue that a lot of these UFO sightings can be explained by more mundane things.
Like what?
Like weather balloons, drones, misidentified aircraft, even hoaxes.
Oh, so people just seeing things, basically?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, but what about those really crazy sightings? The ones that seem to defy physics?
Well, even those could potentially have explanations that we just haven't figured out yet.
Like secret government technology or something?
Exactly.
Okay, that's a possibility.
Or maybe it's something we haven't even thought of yet.
All right, I'm willing to keep an open mind.
I think that's the best approach when dealing with a topic like this.
For sure. So let's keep digging into those UFO sightings.
Yeah, let's see if we can separate fact from fiction.
Because there's a lot to unpack here.
There really is.
All right, listeners, buckle up because we're about to go deeper into the world of UFOs.
It's going to be a wild ride. So are you ready to dive into some actual UFO sightings?
I am. Let's get to the good stuff.
All right, well, we've got to start with the most famous one, right?
Roswell.
Roswell, of course.
Okay, take me back.
1947, New Mexico, a rancher finds debris in his field.
And,
The world goes crazy.
I mean, I can only imagine.
It was huge.
So what was it? Was it really a flying saucer?
Well, that's what the initial report from the U.S. Air Force said.
No way, really?
Yeah, they actually used the term for flying disc.
Wow.
But then they changed their story,
Class.
claimed it was just a weather balloon.
Of course they did. But people didn't buy it, right?
No, not at all.
Enter the conspiracy theories.
Exactly. Roswell became the ultimate UFO conspiracy
A
theory.
government cover-up, alien bodies, the whole 9 yards.
It's the one everyone thinks of when they hear UFO.
So what's the truth? What do we actually know?
Well, based on declassified documents,
Okay.
it seems like it was most likely a high-altitude surveillance balloon project called Mobile.
Mobile.
Yeah, top secret stuff back then.
So no aliens.
Well, the alien bodies people claim to see
Yeah.
were probably just test dummies used in the project.
Okay, so a bit of a letdown.
I guess so, but it was still a significant event.
Yeah, it definitely captured the public imagination.
And it shaped how we think about UFOs and government secrecy.
For sure, Roswell was a turning point.
All right, let's jump ahead a few decades.
To more recent sightings.
To some very intriguing footage.
Okay, you're talking about those U.S. Navy pilot videos?
The ones that were declassified a few years back.
Yeah, those are wild.
They really are. Captured in 2004 and 2015.
Objects moving in ways that just don't seem possible.
Right, like defying physics.
And even the Pentagon couldn't explain them.
Admitted they couldn't identify the objects.
So what does that mean? Are we talking aliens?
Well, not necessarily. It could be advanced technology that we're just not aware of.
You mean our own tech?
Or someone else's.
Like who?
Another country, maybe, with advanced drones or something.
Okay, so we're back to the unknown.
Back to the mysteries.
All right, let's think about another big one, the Phoenix Lights.
Ah, yes, 1997.
Thousands of people saw these lights in the sky.
Across Arizona, Nevada, even Mexico.
Massive V-shaped formation.
Some people said it was bigger than a football field.
That's pretty hard to ignore.
Definitely not your average weather balloon.
So what was it then?
Well, the official explanation was flares dropped by military aircraft.
Flares? Really?
But a lot of people don't buy it.
I could see why that's a lot of flares.
And some witnesses say the movement didn't match up with how flares behave.
So we're back to square one.
It's another one of those cases where we just don't have a definitive answer.
Okay, so we've got Roswell, the Navy videos, the Phoenix Lights, and countless other sightings.
All these stories, all these witnesses.
But still no hard proof of aliens.
That's the thing, isn't it?
No crashed spaceships, no alien bodies, no alien technology.
It's the missing piece of the puzzle.
And the skeptics use that as their main argument, right?
They say, if aliens are visiting, where's the evidence?
And it's hard to argue with that?
It is a valid point. But absence of evidence isn't always evidence of absence.
Okay, explain that.
Just because we haven't found something doesn't mean it's not there.
Fair enough. I guess we could just be looking in the wrong places.
Or maybe we need better technology to detect it.
Okay, I'm willing to entertain that possibility.
After all, our scientific understanding is constantly evolving.
True, true. But what about all the other explanations for UFO sightings?
The more mundane ones.
Yeah, like weather balloons, drones, military aircraft. How do we filter those out?
Well, that's where critical thinking comes in.
Okay.
And scientific methodology.
So looking at the evidence carefully.
Examining all the possible explanations.
Not jumping to conclusions. But our brains aren't always great at that, are they?
No, not always.
We tend to see patterns where there aren't any.
Pareidolia, it's called.
Right, like seeing faces in clouds or animals in random shapes.
And spaceships in blurry lights.
Exactly. So maybe some of these UFO sightings are just our imaginations running wild.
It's possible, but it's also possible that some sightings remain genuinely unexplained.
Even after we've ruled out all the other possibilities.
Exactly, and that's why we need to keep investigating.
To try to understand what we're seeing.
And to keep an open mind.
Because the truth is out there. Somewhere.
Maybe.
Okay, so we've seen the sightings, we've heard the stories, we've debated the evidence, but now it's time to get really speculative.
Time for the big what if.
Exactly. What if, just for fun, we say aliens are real, they're out there, and they've been visiting Earth? The question is, why?
Why would they bother?
Right. What could possibly motivate a civilization advanced enough to travel across the vastness of space to come to our little blue planet?
It's a question that has captivated people for a long, long time.
So let's explore some possibilities. Let's start with the more optimistic ones.
The friendlier aliens.
Yeah, maybe they're just curious.
Scientific curiosity.
Like a cosmic version of anthropologists studying us, observing our planet.
It's certainly possible, an advanced civilization wanting to learn about other life forms.
To understand how we evolved, our culture, our technology.
Maybe even to learn from our mistakes.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. Like they're watching us and thinking, don't do that, we've been there, doesn't end well.
A cosmic warning.
Or maybe they're here to help us.
To guide us in some way.
Like that scene in 2001, A space odyssey with a monolith.
Ah, a classic.
Right? They give us a little nudge, share some knowledge, some advanced tech, help us solve some of our problems.
It's a hopeful scenario.
A shortcut to a utopian future.
Imagine gaining access to alien technology that could help us reverse climate change or cure diseases.
It'd be a game changer.
But, of course, there's the flip side.
The not-so-friendly aliens?
The ones with less than noble intentions.
The Independence Day scenario?
The invaders, the conquerors.
Yeah, that's a bit more frightening.
History shows us that more advanced civilizations often exploit or conquer less advanced ones.
It's a pattern we've seen play out time and again.
So it's not a stretch to imagine an extraterrestrial civilization doing the same.
Coming here for our resources, our planet, maybe even to experiment on us.
It's a possibility we can't ignore.
And honestly, it's a little terrifying to think about.
It's a reminder of how vulnerable we are.
Okay, but let's get even more out there, more speculative.
Beyond the typical alien tropes.
What if their motivations are so alien to us, so beyond our comprehension?
That we can't even begin to understand them.
Like, they're here for a reason that we can't even fathom?
Their goals, their desires, completely foreign to our human experience.
It's like we're trying to understand the universe with a very limited human perspective.
And maybe that's just not enough.
Maybe their actions seem incomprehensible to us because their technology, their understanding of reality is so far beyond our own.
Like Arthur C. Clarke said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Exactly. So maybe what we see as strange or inexplicable behavior is just them doing their thing, operating on a level that we can't even grasp.
Their motives might be as mysterious to us as the workings of a smartphone would be to a caveman.
That's a mind-blowing thought. So we've gone from friendly scientists to resource-hungry invaders to beings whose motives are completely beyond our understanding.
It's a wide spectrum of possibilities.
It really is. So where does this leave us? What are we supposed to think about all of this?
I think the most important thing is to keep asking questions.
To keep exploring, keep searching.
Because the possibility of extraterrestrial life, regardless of their motives, challenges us to think bigger, to expand our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe.
It forces us to ask those really big questions.
Who are we? What are we doing here? Are we alone?
And if we're not alone, how do we prepare for contact? How do we ensure our own safety while also being open to learning from another intelligence?
It's a huge challenge, but it's also an incredible opportunity.
To learn, to grow, to evolve as a species.
To realize that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves.
That's a beautiful thought. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the unknown, I think the biggest takeaway is that the mystery remains.
The universe is still full of secrets.
But that's what makes it so fascinating.
It's the wonder, the possibility, the constant search for answers.
Exactly. So keep looking up, keep asking questions, and who knows, maybe one day we'll finally get those answers.
Or maybe we'll discover even more mysteries.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? The journey never ends.